In this video, you'll explore the basics of drawing paths with the pen tool by tracing a series of templates you see here. So with Illustrator open this file from the practice files if you want to follow along. Now to make sure you can see everything, choose View, Fit All in Window. You can see the final artwork down here. You'll learn the pen tool by drawing some of these shapes using the templates you see. You'll start by drawing this one. To zoom into that artboard, choose One from the Active Artboard menu in the Properties panel. Now you'll turn off the Smart Guides so the artwork won't snap and Smart Guides won't show, which could be a distraction as you learn. So make sure this Smart Guides option is turned off. Select the Pen tool in the Tools panel on the left, and now you'll set the fill and stroke colors before drawing so you can see the template path as you draw. In the Properties panel on the right, click the fill color and apply None to remove it. Change the stroke weight to 1 if it isn't already, and click the stroke color and make sure it's black. Now if you take a look at the pen tool pointer, it has an asterisk next to it, which means you're about to create a new path. So in a blank area out here, click and release to start a path and make an anchor point. Then move the pointer and you'll see this rubber band or preview of what the path will look like if you were to click. So move the pointer over, click and release. To stop drawing, press the Escape key and you've just created a line. So let's practice a little bit by drawing these teeth. Starting here on point 1, click and release to start a path. Then click point 2, release the mouse. Then click point 3, release. Keep clicking and releasing on each point. After clicking and releasing on point 9, move the pointer over the first point at 1. When the pointer is over the original anchor point and a circle shows next to it, click to close the path and stop drawing. When you create paths, whether with the pen tool or not, you set anchor points where you want the path to do something different, like change direction or add a curve. You can also use the pen tool to create curves, and this is where it can get really fun. To switch artboards, choose To Antenna from the Artboard navigation menu down here. In a blank area, click and release to create a new anchor and start a path. Move the pointer over, then press and drag to create a curve. You'll find that the more you drag, the more curve the path has. Release the mouse button. The handles you see coming off of both sides of the anchor point are for editing the curve of the path. They're sort of like magnets pulling on the path. To stop drawing, press Escape. Now you draw a curved path using what you just learned. So starting at point 1, click and release to make an anchor. Now to curve the path, press and drag on point 2 to make a curve, but don't release the mouse button yet. The further you drag from the anchor point, the bigger the curve is. The handle down here controls the path before the anchor, and the handle up here controls the path after the anchor point. Drag until the path before the anchor point looks like the template path, then release. If you make a mistake, you can always choose Edit, Undo Pen, and simply redraw the last anchor point. You'll also find that paths you draw this way can be easily edited later using other tools. So don't worry if the path doesn't follow the template exactly. Press and drag on point 3. Drag until the path before the anchor point looks like the template, then release. Press and drag on point 4 and release. Press and drag on point 5 and release. When you come to point 6, simply click and release. Now to stop drawing a path, press the Escape key. If you want to practice, you can pause the video and draw the antenna on the right. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. So now you'll draw another series of curves that look a little different. So choose 3 Mouth from the Artboard navigation menu down here. This time you'll start by drawing a curve so the path has a little bit more curve. So from point 1, press and drag to the right. Release when the handles look something like this. Then move to point 2, press and drag from point 2, making sure the path before the anchor point looks good, then release. Now if you move the pointer around, the path preview shows that the path would be a curve because of this direction handle. But we need the path to completely change direction at this anchor. So you can split direction handles so they go in different directions and create a corner. Move the pointer over the end of this handle, press Option on Mac or Alt on Windows, and drag to split the handles. You want to drag in the general direction of where the path is going to go next, down here. And the longer you make this direction handle, the more curve the next part of the path will have. Release the mouse, and then the key. Knowing where to drag the direction handles and how far to drag them out will just take practice, don't worry. Now press and drag from point 3 to make sure the path before looks good, and release. Now the next path needs to be straight, so to do that you can remove this direction handle so it doesn't curve the path after the anchor. Click back on the anchor point to remove the handle on this side of the anchor. Then come to point 4, click and release. Now the next part of the path needs to be curved, so you need a direction handle to control this part of the path. To pull out a direction handle, press and drag from the point and drag it roughly up here. Come to point 5 and press and drag until the path before looks right, and then release. Now to split the handle so you can make a corner so it looks like this part of the path, press Option on Mac OS or Alt on Windows and drag the end of the handle down. Release the mouse and then the key. To close the path we're creating, move the pointer over the first anchor point you drew, and the pointer will show a circle next to it, which means if you click, the path will close. Press and drag from the original anchor point to the right until the path looks right, then release. To turn the Smart Guides back on for later lessons, choose View, Smart Guides. Drawing with the pen tool is going to take practice to feel comfortable. Don't worry about that. But if you keep practicing the techniques you've learned here, you'll definitely be on your way to mastering the basics of the pen tool.